1 in 2 Victorians either have no insurance or are underinsured. If a bushfire strikes, government assistance alone won't be enough for you to get back what's lost. So if you want to protect your home and property, you'll want to know about insurance. If you own or rent, ask yourself, do I have insurance? Do I have enough insurance? There are lots of different options out there. Don't worry, if you cover the fundamentals, it's not as difficult as you might think. We're talking about general information to get you started and insured. If you come across a difficult problem and you need legal advice, we have some referrals you can follow up. Bushfires can be unpredictable and deeply affect our lives, personally, financially, and legally. This presentation is about being prepared to protect your property and avoid financial hardship in the event of a disaster. We're going to cover what you can do right now to prepare, what is covered by insurance, and the key things to remember. I want to start by letting you know about Disaster Legal Help Victoria. This is a cooperative service and is a joint initiative of several legal organisations. Its aim is to help people affected by disasters work out their legal rights and options, and to link them with legal providers. They have a website you can look at now, and if a disaster does occur, they will operate a phone line and provide volunteers at recovery centres. Sure, you want to know what you can do right now to prepare. Whether you're renting or a homeowner, get insurance. It will give you security to help you get back up on your feet if disaster strikes. If you can afford it, and if you don't already have it, get it as soon as you can. Also, make sure you get enough insurance to protect all the things you want to protect. If you already have insurance, check your policy because many people don't have enough there to protect them. Also, read the policy carefully and remember you can ask questions from your insurer. If you want independent help working out what something means in your policy, one option is you can call the Financial Rights Legal Centre on 1800 007 007. Whether you're getting insurance for the first time or checking insurance that you already have, read over your policy to see if it covers all the things you want to have covered and for the amount that you want them to be covered by. When it comes to homes, policies usually divide the home, the contents of the home, your motor vehicle, and outbuildings from the home as separate things. For example, if you have a lockable shed, this is not likely to be covered as part of your main dwelling in your home. If you can't find policy documents if you already have insurance, you can ask your insurer to give you a copy, and they have to give it to you. To help get yourself prepared, collect an electronic copy of your important documents. This can save you a lot of stress down the road, especially if a disaster event happens and you've got more pressing things to worry about. Get together your important documents and save them to the cloud. An easy way to do this is to email them to yourself. This means you won't lose access if you lose your device. So if you want to be on the front foot, make sure you get insurance, make sure you get enough insurance, and save electronic copy of all your important documents. Now let's have a closer look at the fundamentals of insurance. I'm going to talk about some different kinds of insurance. I'm going to talk about how insurance can cover you, and I'm also going to talk about what kind of things might not be covered by insurance. First kind of insurance is home insurance, also called property insurance or home building insurance. This covers buildings. And I say buildings because the policies often treat different buildings as separate. For example, it'll cover your main dwelling, but double check to see if it also covers outbuildings like a lockable shed on your property. The policies will often cover you for bushfires, storms, and cyclones, but double checks to see if they cover flood damage because not all do. I've heard stories of flood damage being caused by heavy rains from the water coming up and people not being protected, even though they've got insurance that would otherwise cover them for the rain causing damage from above. So double check your policy to make sure it covers all the things you want to protect your buildings for. The next kind of insurance is content insurance. This covers the repair or replacement of household possessions and furnishings, things like furniture, appliances, and electronics. It's not likely to cover things that are permanently affixed to the main dwelling. Contents insurance is relevant for homeowners and for renters. For homeowners, it's sometimes bundled with home insurance, but you need to check. For renters, you need to get your own. because your landlord's home insurance won't cover your possessions that are inside the building. Policies cover different things at different rates, so check your policy carefully to make sure that it covers enough to replace the things you want to replace. It's also worth seeing if you need additional cover to cover special things like jewellery, expensive sporting equipment, or items outside the main dwelling. There are a few other kinds of insurance that are worth knowing about. The next is motor vehicle insurance. Compulsory third-party insurance won't cover you for the loss or damage to your own motor vehicle. You'll need to get comprehensive motor vehicle insurance to cover you for this. Also, I recommend you be wary of guaranteed asset protection, GAP, insurance if you're financing your car. This means if you're taking out a loan for your car, sometimes you're offered this product as a separate insurance. It can be an expensive and often unhelpful extra that's rolled into your finance and can be upwards of $1,000. More information is available about this on the Consumer Action Law Centre website. Secondly, if you're looking at life insurance, be aware that most superannuation funds will cover you for life insurance already, so check your super fund to see if you're already covered before paying for an extra product. Related to this, be cautious of accident or sickness insurance policies. These are being phased out with the support of ASIC because they usually aren't worth it. If you already have guaranteed asset protection insurance, or if you have another kind of similar insurance called consumer credit insurance, consider making a claim or seeking a refund for the premiums already paid to the insurer. You can get help for this online, and even if you're unsure if you're covered, report a claim to your insurer and see what their response is. I've talked about the different kinds of insurance that are good to know about, and now I want to talk about how you can be covered by insurance, particularly for home insurance. And you'll want to know about this because it can have a big impact on how much money you get if you need to rebuild. There are two ways this happens. The first is being sum insured, and the second is having total replacement insurance. Being sum insured means being insured up to a certain amount of money. For example, $400,000 for buildings, $20,000 for contents. You'll be reimbursed to the value of the property or possessions in the condition they were in right before they were destroyed or damaged. Generally, this is the cheaper option, but you risk being underinsured. That means not having enough to cover the things that you want to replace. This can be a big problem after a major disaster because the cost of a rebuild can go up due to an increase in demand in the region for both materials and labour. You may also not be adequately covered for the type of building you have. For example, you might have a more expensive thing that needs to be repaired. This could include, for example, having asbestos in your house that needs to have specialist removal. So you want to check your policy carefully to see that it covers the amount of things you'll need with a bit of breathing space. The other way to be covered for home insurance is total replacement cover, sometimes also called complete replacement cover. This pays out the full amount needed to replace damaged property with new property. This doesn't take into account the reduced value of property over time. Usually, the insurer can decide whether to repair or build damaged property and pay you the cost of repairing or pay you store credit to repair. Total replacement cover offers better protection, but usually comes at a higher premium. Insurance is famous for fine print, exclusions, and exceptions, all the things for which an insurer won't pay. This can seem daunting, but if you know some of the common things to look out for, it can be made a bit simpler. When it comes to bushfires, there's a few things worth knowing about. The first is an embargo. An embargo is a period of time in which you won't be covered for bushfire damage just after starting your policy, usually between 48 to 72 hours. There can be exceptions to this, which can include swapping from one policy to another during the life of your policy, but make sure you double check so you know when you're actually going to be covered. Other common exclusions include damage from scorching, burn marks or melting where there was no flame or no burning building within 10 meters of your dwelling, and damage from heat, soot, smoke or ash unless your building or contents have actually caught fire. Finally, most policies will require you to take reasonable precautionary measures to limit loss. This means doing things to stop the likelihood of damage. This can include things like clearing leaves from your gutter, However, reasonable means only those things that are reasonable, so you don't need to risk your health or safety or disregard local planning laws. So now you know there are different kinds of insurance, that home insurance covers you either as sum insurance or total replacement insurance, and that there are common exclusions to look out for when it comes to bushfires. The insurance market is competitive, so you can shop around to find the right policy for you. So, whether you're renting or a homeowner, the key things to remember are: get insurance if you can afford it, read over your policy whether you have insurance already or you're going to get it, and make sure the insurance protects the things you want protected. Make sure the insurance provides the amount of cover to protect the things you want to protect, and make sure the insurance protects you from all the risks that you're worried about. And also look out for the common exclusions like time embargoes, flood damage, and heat damage. For more information, check out the Disaster Legal Help website. If you want more detailed information or help, there are a few places you can go. For free legal information and help, you can try the Consumer Action Law Centre, Victoria Legal Aid, or the Insurance Law Service. For non-legal help, you could try financial counselling at Anglicare, the Financial Rights Law Centre, and for small businesses, you can look online for the Small Business Bushfire Organisation. We've come to the end of the presentation. Good for you for taking time to look out for yourself and get more information on being legally prepared for this bushfire season. We've talked about the steps to get yourself going and get insurance. We've talked about the kind of insurance to get, how it can cover you, and general things to look out for. We've talked about the key things to remember. Get insurance, get enough insurance, and make sure it covers you. Thank you for spending time with me. Stay safe and go well.